Let's continue getting ready to New Year's. Today we are going to make a 5-angled star. I was inspired and learned how to make such a star by a wonderful weaver Nelly from Land of Masters. Thanks to her, it was she who inspired to think over New Year's stars. In our turn, we did experiment with thickness of tubes, ways of painting, decorating with icicles, and now we would like to show you both how we make such stars and the ones like these, simplified and economical variety, the ones that are more airy and more snowflake-like. Having tried many ways of weaving stars, you see, we have tried both weaving from thick tubes and weaving big stars from thin ones. My daughter and I have finally concluded that such small stars from thin tubes look more harmonious and elegant on a Christmas tree. These are our yesterday's experiments, the last ones. We have not even painted them yet. If you compare these two stars, you will clearly see that this one stands out. So let's try to weave the one like this, a small one. What is the difference between them? They both have been woven from thin tubes. We have rolled up with the help of a knitting needle 1 mm thick from glossy magazine paper. There is one more thing I would like to draw your attention to. Look, this star has been made of glossy paper, while the other one from newspaper tubes. As you see, their surface is completely different. For this completely weaving, glossy paper is better. For weaving items, newspaper tubes are better, but for these very stars, glossy magazine paper suits better. So, for this little star, we mark one side 5 cm long, but this one is too little. Let's better weave the one like this. Look, 5 cm, 6 cm and 7 cm. You see how different they are. It will depend on the size of your Christmas tree what size stars to make. Let's choose the medium size, 6 cm. Mark 6 cm, make a fold and several folds more for a 5-angled star. We have made them. Then the next stage is shaping a star. We have shaped a star, lift a tube, and turn the item. In this very position, we start twining every top round. Nelly shows it very well in her tutorial, but because we have started the topic of stars already, I cannot leave this kind of stars without my attention as well. Lengthen the tube. We've done it. Be very careful in the place of lengthening. Turn. I have gotten used to make a tube look up every time before turning. In this case you cannot get confused. Twine the top round, turn the star. Twine round, turn. When we have made first lock from every side, we have fixed the star, not to let it fall apart. Lengthen once again. Do you succeed? You know what your problem is, daughter. You haven't interwoven the tubes between themselves. When we shape a star, I place the third side on top and lead the fourth one behind the star and the fifth one on top again. In this case, the tubes don't slide apart, because the sides are pressed to each other tightly. Shape, turn. Here we hold at first, but after we have shaped the first lock, they will not slide apart anymore, because they will hold each other. You have turned, and you get the tube on top again. Lengthen it first. It is not going to fit in this way. You have to do it like this. Well done, and turn. Now, after we have made one lock at each angle, we place the tubes tightly to each other. I've noticed that if you place the tubes tight, the item will come out neat. My first stars were not very successful before I've started paying attention to placing the tubes very close to each other, almost with no gaps at all. Lengthen the tube again. And place the tubes very tightly. That's all. We have placed 2 locks at each tip of the star already. Now start making the third locks at each tip. The tubes are very thin. From the one side it is good because the star comes out very neat, but from the other side... That's all. We have made 3 locks for each tip. Now we have to insert a tube inside. You know how I do it. I lead it under the tubes with the help of a knitting needle. We have placed the tubes tightly so it will hold itself. And cut the tip neatly with the help of scissors. It is almost unnoticeable. We have 3 coils at each side. It is the kind of a star we have got. The only thing left is to paint it from a spray can. My daughter has succeeded as well. The only thing left is to insert a tip. Let's look. The third coil. One can insert it inside. Let's look how to do it more convenient. We'll probably lead it somewhere here now. It is also important to place the tubes every time crossing the center. In this case there will be no gap in the middle. You see, I was placing the tubes across the center and the star has come out neater. But it is not bad for the first time, because one can hardly make a perfect star from the first time. So it is well done. You'll just have to train some more. Look what other mistake you have made. One of the coils has slid away. We can check the number of the coils from the opposite side of the star. There are 3 coils everywhere. Here this coil has slid away, which has made the top somewhat bald. There are 3 coils, but they have slid apart a little. So these mistakes I am talking about, next time we will try our best to avoid them. Now it's time for economical variety of a 5-angled star, both an economical one and more airy one. Take the same thin tubes, and here we can play with the size as well. Let's mark 7 centimeters this time. So mark 7 centimeters. Make 5 folds for a 5-angled star, and the first stage is identical to the previous one. We shape a star. Look, the first side, the second one. We place the third one on top and lead the fourth one underneath. Place the fifth one on top and get a star. So now when we have got a star, we just wrap the center of the star slantwise every time. Turn slantwise. Turn slantwise. Turn slantwise. Once again, slantwise. As a result, a star will get shaped inside as well. It is so interesting, we have noticed it accidentally, that if you look attentively, there is a little star inside of a big one. There is one coil lacking to get a star from this side as well. We are going to finish it now. So you can call it an airy star inside of a star. It is very inconvenient to lengthen very thin tubes. One has to lengthen it so that it did not slide apart. So it is not enough. Let's try. The last coil. Look, we have got a star from this side as well. Now we turn, and our task is to hide. You can hide going along this very side, not to spoil our star. And hide along one of the sides of our smaller star. Very, very carefully. Lead the tube, place it onto the side. That's all, our star is ready. Cut here. Glue and paint from a spray can.
Подклеиваем и красим из баллончика.